Welcome to Spotlight with Kathy Hawley.
It's wonderful, it's marvelous that you should care for me. It's awfully nice. It is great that you care for us tonight. It's Spotlight. Welcome back, everybody. It's December. Can you believe? And it's a little chilly here in Pacifica, but that's all right. I know that it's winter and it's December. I have some great guests tonight. I have a very good friend over here, Linda Kosut, who's a great vocalist. We're going to talk to her in a few minutes. And I also have part of a wonderful band, DC, Cannaday, and Carmen Ratti, who are part of DC Power and Electric Company. Did I do it right?
You did.
I love it. I love it. I'll get back to you in just a few minutes. This is so great. So I have somebody who I've known for quite a while, and the band, of course, is based here in Pacifica, and we'll talk more about that. So, Linda.
Yeah.
Yes, how did you get into showbiz? Linda and I have known each other. I know she's from the East Coast. Tell me just a little bit of your background for our studio audience. How did you get into the business?
I've always loved to sing. I used to sing at home in the Bronx with my parents. My dad played piano for me when I was 5. And my parents sang that professionally. And that was always in the background. And then in the late 80s, before I left New York for San Francisco, I started performing in cabaret in New York. And I moved out here, and it was nearly 15, 20 years before I sang again. In 1999, I started again.
What's wonderful. See, it stayed with you. Isn't that
Well,
true, though?
when-
We showbiz
you
folk.
can't, when you have music in your gut, you can't not do it.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
have to figure out how to do it.
Can't take the music out of the girl. You can take the girl
No.
out of the
You
music.
can
Whatever.
take me out of the Bronx, though.
I've never been to the Bronx, but I love New York. So I was going to go to New York. I never did, darn it. But it's great to know that you're back in the music world, and here we
Yeah.
are in the Bay
Thank
Area,
you.
of course. And I know that when I've seen you perform, you've done some amazing work because you've done tributes to famous performer, writers. Not James Brown. I feel good. No, tell me, who was your first tribute
Well,
in the show?
my first tribute show was to jazz legend Oscar Brown Jr.,
Oscar Brown
who
Jr., that was it, yeah.
reached a peak of fame in the 60s. And I was familiar with his music then, and in researching a show that I was going to do, I came across one of his songs that I wanted to do, and I asked the publisher for the sheet music, and they said yes.
How wonderful.
Which is very rare. They don't do that. And so from that, it was, what would you think of a nice white Jewish girl from the Bronx doing a tribute show to this great Afrocentrist? And he said Oscar would have loved it because he wanted his music to be universally received.
Now tell me about some of his, I'm sorry, I can't think of any of his songs at the moment, but go ahead.
Probably one of the ones that in the jazz world you'd know would be Work Song, which was, the music was written by Nat Adderley, Cannonball Adderley's brother, and Oscar put the lyrics to it. Dat Dare, the music was written by, I can't think of his name, but lyrics by Oscar, and that was sung by many jazz artists, including Tony Bennett and Mel Torme. And
this music should be familiar, to a lot of
most
people.
of the music isn't familiar. His music is not familiar.
And when you said Dat Dare, I think I have heard that, but
Yeah.
there's
Your
lots of
daddy with
others.
that dare.
I know, lots
Yeah.
of other
Da-da-da.
songs. I'm sure we can just look up
I could-
Oscar Brown Jr.
Oscar Brown Jr.
and see.
And that one
many,
I
many,
did
of
a tribute
his-
show, which I toured around the country, and I did a follow-up CD, which won Backstage Magazine Bistro Award. And
That's great. How did you tour around the country? I mean, I know something about this business now. It's changed a lot, but how did you do this yourself?
I
Put
did
it
it
together?
I did it myself. I did hire
Amazing.
in certain cities. I did hire publicists to help me get some pre-press.
The word out.
Yeah,
right?
because I don't know anybody. So in New York, I knew my friends and family who still lived there would come. In
Where
Chicago,
did you do it in New York? I'm sorry.
I
have
did
to-
the
no.
first. I did the show 4 times in New York, and I did it in 4 different venues, including the Metropolitan Room, which is still there. Encore, which is
Yes.
not there anymore. The Trident, which is not there anymore, and
Don't Tell Mama?
No, I didn't do it at Don't Tell Mama.
I love Don't Tell Mama.
I did a show a couple of years ago at Don't Tell Mama, but not that one.
I
Yeah.
really love that room. And so you know what I'd like to, you're going to show an excerpt. We are going to show an excerpt of a show that you did. Is this
Yes.
the one, the tribute to
This
whom?
the new show I'm working on is a tribute to Johnny Green, who wrote Body and Soul, which is still number one
love
on
that
the jazz
number.
charts 83 years after it was written. This segment is from the workshop production I did of it at the Piedmont Piano Company in Oakland. And
that
this
name has come up. He really supports music.
Oh, he does. It's
fabulous. Wonderful. Great.
And this song called Am I in Another World, music is by Johnny Green, the lyrics by Ted Koehler, and the only recording I've ever heard of it was by Fats Waller.
Well, this is wonderful. Let's take a peek at the performance at Piedmont Piano Company. Obviously, there's a piano.
Right. A very large Fazioli grand piano with my trio, with Mike Greensill at the
Here it
piano.
is.
I'm afraid to look around me. Am I in another world? Could it be that love has found me? What is this thrill? This strange delight that my heart has never known until tonight. Am I in another world? Did I throw a lucky seven? Have I suddenly been hurled into my idea of heaven? I hate to wake at break of dawn. Out of a dream and find you gone, gone, gone. Am I in another world, or am I just in love?
That is great. Applause,
Thank you.
applause, applause. I love
Yay.
the setting. I love what you were doing. I love the number. And all right, now that's a Johnny Green
That's
song.
a Johnny Green song.
And
yeah.
that's going to be, you're going to feature his music coming up at a cabaret show at our
Right.
new cabaret in San Francisco, everybody, called the Society Cabaret. And I would love to see you in that room. I'm going to see if I can go to the show. Everybody out there, this is a brand new cabaret room, and it's wonderful. They're featuring a lot of San Franciscans and some people from out of town. I'm going to be there myself in April, you know.
Great.
And I love the room. It's in the Rex Hotel in San Francisco, and you're going to be there January
17th and 18th. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock show, and they do serve food.
They do serve food. They have a full bar, and there's no table minimum. There are ticket prices, however.
Yes,
you have
and-
to buy a
and-
ticket.
Information on the screen, everybody.
Right.
You can buy a ticket. Go see
Please buy a
Linda.
ticket.
Please buy a ticket. I know how it is. We are in the entertainment
have
business, you
fill
know,
those
and this is
seats.
live music. So it really means we have to work twice as hard. Well, I would love to hear a cut from your CDs. One of your
Okay.
CDs.
Well,
I know
have-
you recorded
Yeah, I
many.
mean, the cut that I picked was from my first CD called Life is But a Dream, is the CD, and this cut is My Romance.
Oh, I love that song. That was my second husband and my song. Did you know that? You didn't know
No,
that.
I had
it's a
no idea,
beautiful
Kathy.
song. All right. Well, that's why I want to hear it. I'm sure I'll have a different feeling now when I hear it. It'll be a warm, fuzzy feeling. Can we play that? Is there any way we can do that, everybody? Are we ready? Great. Here it is.
My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky.
My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by. No month of May, no twinkling star, no hideaway, no soft guitars. My romance doesn't need a castle rising in Spain, or a dance to a constantly surprising refrain. Wide awake, I can make my most fantastic dreams come true.
Beautiful song and a beautiful rendition. Linda,
Thank
that
you.
was just great.
Thank
you.
you.
That was wonderful entertainment. All right, everybody. That was, I mean, here you are watching us right now. You've got to go buy a ticket and see Linda live. It's wonderful.
See me live.
See her live. And over here on my left are some other live music performers. And you're from Pacifica. Carmen Ratti, DC,
San Francisco.
San Francisco. You are
That's all right.
originally?
But I've done my tour in Pacifica. I love Pacifica.
That's wonderful. You know how I know Carmen? I don't know if you know this, but everybody, but Carmen Ratti, I've known for a while, his darling daughters are at Good Shepherd School in Pacifica, where I teach music and where I do all the shows. And, well, it's just amazing. Amanda and Jennifer were terrific singers. They were in my choir, and Jennifer was in the Glee Club. I mean, it's really wonderful. They've kept their love for music, I believe.
Yes.
I think Amanda in particular, yes?
Yeah, she's singing she's a senior in high school now, so she's singing in the high school.
Ah, yes, they do grow up. I know.
Yeah, they
It's
did.
amazing.
Yeah, they are.
Well, you know, I just I have to ask Carmen first, because when I found out, the girls would say, and my dad, you know, he's in a band, Miss Holly. They call me Miss Holly at school. So formal, but that's good. They do. And I said, oh, I can't believe it. Really, I'd love to talk to him sometime. Finally, I got around
Like
to calling
10
you.
years later, yeah.
10 years later. See how long it took
That's
everybody?
all right.
But the point is that, you know, the girls would say it, but kind of downplay it. And I was thinking, I want to find out more. And so how did you get started in music? Because I know you're a businessman. Yes.
Well, I started playing drums at 10, and I played in school. I played in 2 or 3 bands up till about when I was 17, and then I picked the guitar up at 20. But I went in a different direction. I didn't get into music probably till about 15 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And then really last 20 years, it's been 10 years, every year has progressed, where I've gotten more involved with it and more serious, and it's really been inside of me for all these years.
Because with DC, you're playing in the band. Obviously, you're a guitarist. What
Right.
do you play lead or?
Well, I
rhythm,
back
or-
him up. I consider, am I your wingman or what? Or
He
your?
plays lead.
He plays the
Well, yeah, he
Okay,
does it
good.
all.
I do both,
Lead,
but
great.
he's the main. He's a front man. He's a true front man, and I back him up accordingly.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, but I
And
solo a lot. You know, I have to give him
Uh-huh.
a break. His fingers get tired when he
that's-
plays that fast.
I think
so.
that's great that you got back into it in your
Oh,
soloing.
I love it.
Because I
Yeah.
studied rhythm guitar, and I never got into soloing. I more of a singer than a solo
I
guitar
took
player.
lessons from this boy about 15 years ago.
That's a tribute to him.
Yeah.
CDC, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about you now, because you said you got into music early on, and you came. Where were you born and raised? In San Francisco?
No, I was born in Peoria, Illinois.
Oh my goodness, Peoria, Illinois, not far from Chicago,
Yeah,
right?
No, about 3 hours south. And my dad was a musician, played very heavily regionally there. So my first gig was I was 10. I went out and sang with my dad
That's
at a gig.
great.
I remember I had a matching shirt.
Wow.
That's exciting.
That's very exciting.
I
What
got
was
my
he
band
playing?
shirt.
What was he playing?
He was a
What
guitar
instrument?
player and a singer as well.
That's, see, you're just
Yeah.
like the apple that falls from the
Yes,
tree. So
yeah.
but you enjoyed it and you knew what you wanted to do at a young age.
Real early, I think, just having it around the house all the time. I remember sneaking my dad's guitar out and opening it up and just being fascinated by the velvet, on the inside of the case.
Oh,
and the,
yes. All of
yeah.
us here, this is very interesting. We've all started, when we were very young, and I think what parents need to know out there is exposure to live music when you're very young sets the stage. If the parents are musical and continually play the piano or whatever it is, guitar, that's really important. So then tell me, when did you really get into it professionally? How old? Where did you start, let's say?
My parents were really supportive the whole time. I very shortly after started playing saxophone at school. We had music available in public school back then.
Yes, right.
A private lesson, actually. I had 2 private lessons a week.
Oh, great. And then did you go on the road?
I did. I went on the
When?
road when I was 21. As soon as I was old enough.
Yes, you were out of
Yeah,
there and you went
yeah,
on the road. And you traveled where? Where did you play?
Northwestern United States, California, Arizona, Alaska, Nevada.
You see, this is sort of parallel now because I was on the road too for quite a while. I was able to make a living as you were, right? 5 nights a week.
5, 6, right.
Maybe how many sets a night?
Right.
5 sets,
Some
even
long
4.
ones, 10 to 4
See,
in the
everybody out there, you think
morning.
we don't work? We
Right.
really worked then. I'll tell you, we paid our dues.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
But those were the days when you could really work, Now it's a little kind of limiting. There are not that many clubs. I must say, locally. But, the wonderful thing is that you also are a songwriter, and you write the lyrics too.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just great, DC. And in fact, we have a video, I think, of you of the
Right.
band playing.
That was the
Where
night
is
you were
this?
there.
Oh, where is it? Oh, but tell everybody if they don't
Well, it
know.
was a 7 Mile House.
7 Mile House in
You
Brisbane.
came out and watched for the first time.
Yes, it was a great night. This
It was
is
fun.
DC Power and Electric Company. Now, when you look at the information on how to contact them or you want to know more, and the website, there is no .com. It's DC Power and the Electric.
DC,
Oh.
DCPE dot co.
You're right. Okay, I've got it. Just
is,
so
that's
everybody
perfect.
really looks at the screen to get it right. And I think we're ready then to see the footage because, we could talk about it, but let's see what you're doing live. And the 7 Mile House, you're going to be there in January. Wow, that's great. I was there that night. It's great. Yeah, you're influenced by the blues, obviously, yes?
Love blues,
Yeah,
love Stevie
love
Ray
it.
Vaughan, Albert King, Freddie King, long list.
Of course,
Going
and
into
it's
deeper.
I can see that, and we must, tell everybody. I mean, whatever kind of music you enjoy, you'll enjoy the band. I know. I heard you, and you do some covers.
Do some covers because there's been some. There have been some fantastic songs written. I think I find a lot of enjoyment in playing somebody else's song if it's a great song.
And you were touring. What years would you say you were touring? What kind of music were you playing when you were touring?
That's a great question. I hadn't thought about that one in a long time. It started off doing a lot of dance music, which was really popular at the time.
What era? What, 70s, 80s?
No. Well, 80s kind of, as far as the music styles. But then we made a shift over to playing songs out of the 70s, like Tower of Power and Earth, Wind and Fire, and we found a good audience for that at the time, so we were able to sustain a lot of work.
Did you work in Nevada, you said?
Oh yeah.
So the casinos?
Not my favorite place, Nevada, to work. Yeah, they're long nights there.
They're
you know,
long nights.
yeah.
Yes, I actually did it as with a duo, myself and and then drummer and sometimes a piano player, and it was very long. Like I worked as a solo once, 9 to 3.
Right.
My first gig in Nevada.
Right.
I never thought I wanted to ever go back. It was in Las Vegas, and it sounded so exciting. But no. See, everybody, it's work. It's work.
No last
But anyway,
call,
those were the days, my friend. And
Right.
it's. But we used to get our room and our meals when I was on the road. Did you get that too?
Housing and which could be dangerous for a young guy. I remember you don't have anything to spend your money on besides drinking sometimes when you're in those establishments.
Well,
so
that's-
just a lifestyle.
That could be,
it's,
but you adjust. I mean, I didn't.
You adjust.
I kind of enjoyed the travel part,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I loved that I got my own room, and I could go have breakfast and then eat dinner, whatever. Anyway, there's stories. The road is a great experience because you meet people and you learn a lot about playing, and you can play to any audience after that. I would truly believe. Did you? So you were with your own band, or did you work with other bands then in the '70s? I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
in the
that
80s.
was the '90s that I was doing that amount.
Oh.
That amount of touring was in the '90s.
Great.
I was in several acts during that period of time, 4 or 5. Then made a switch over to doing my own thing. I really wanted to kind of be in control of, well, not be in control, but just kind of call on the music that we were playing. I felt like I
Yes,
could
yeah.
stay a little more regionalized in the Bay Area and not travel so much
Right.
and still work. And
And
back
have
then
some-
that was possible.
That's
Bay Area has
right.
changed a lot, though.
It's changed.
think.
I think the mid '90s. I was just trying to pick a time. Mid '90s maybe was when it changed. I think a lot musically. After the earthquake in San Francisco in '89, I remember how the business just dropped a lot,
Right.
and nobody wanted to visit us that much. But now, if we can talk a little bit about, let's gather our thoughts together here, everybody. I'm going to bring everybody together now. But before we leave, I want to make sure the audience knows that you're going to be at Winters here in Pacifica.
Yeah, we run
tell me about that.
run an open stage at Winters, which is in town here. We do it on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of every month.
Okay.
We're really trying to do something down there in the way of, in light of the fact that there are so many of us musicians out there working for very little.
Right.
That's
That's right.
Know.
That's right.
What a
The business
surprise.
has changed.
It truly is a labor of love, I think, at this
Yes.
point. And I just want to be able to be involved with the people that I've built, have built around me during my lifetime who play music. I love
So
musicians.
people
We're
can
a small
drop in.
club.
We're small.
Yeah.
So people can
Yeah.
drop in. I
Yeah.
just want everybody to know.
Feels like
So
a
it's a
jam.
jam session.
It's an open stage there,
And when they
yeah.
arrive, they talk to you and
Yep.
say, "Hi, I'm Kathy Holly, and I'm here to sing a song. Is that okay?" And I tell you what I do, and I'll bring my guitar, bring my axe, and I know you'll be able to just do a lot of things. So singers out there, performers, and they can bring an instrument like their horn player or whatever, sax player or singer. Okay, so that's great, and that's where it is. You're going to be at Winters, the second and fourth Thursday of the month, and that's continuing. That's ongoing.
That's ongoing.
And then they will be at the 7 Mile House on January 25th, which is great, and you'll be there more often, I'm sure, during the year. So,
Yeah.
and Carmen, what do your girls think of all this? Aren't they just
They like
thrilled?
it. That's
I mean, you
They're
have to have
excited.
family support. Your wife is
they
wonderful.
do.
I
They
Janine.
love to
She's
come out
great.
and watch us when they can.
That's great.
And
It's
and
important.
Janine's probably there 95% of the time.
Okay, Janine, I'll see you at Winters.
No,
And
she's not at Winters.
She's not at Winters.
She stays home for
I
that
might
one.
talk her into going to Winters because
Yeah, okay.
probably
Sounds like a good
a
idea.
Thursday night would be good for me. It depends on which. That's usually a better night. But you know, Linda,
Yes, Kathy.
now I want her opinion first, and then I've got to. We only have a little time left, everybody. I've got to rush here. I want to know where do we think the business is going to be 5 years from now? What does everybody think about live music? What do you think?
Well, on my checks, I have the little phrase, keeping live music alive, because there's like
you.
4 of us, you know.
That's
No, but
true.
there
I
are.
do
There-
that
there-
slogan too.
The kind of clubs that Kathy, you and I would play in
Yes.
are in San Francisco are diminishing. So your creativity in creating venues to perform in, but it's not the same as doing the show.
No,
I mean, I
that's
can do a
right.
restaurant gig for 4 hours. I have to schlep my sound system. I get a little check from the house. I pay the pianist, and I'm lucky if I have parking money.
That's right.
But
It's come
but
to that.
doing the show where people are actually coming, they're paying to see you perform, which is juice for me.
Mhm. And it's juice for, I think, even the band if you're in a
Yeah,
club.
yeah.
If
It's
everybody's,
just juice
you know,
for the entertainer. It's a
Yeah.
lot. You have an audience that's there for you.
and there's not many places
And there are
in
very
San
few
Francisco.
places now in San Francisco for the kind of music that I do and the kind of experience I need. And
Yeah.
I'm not a top headliner, so
That's
I
right.
don't get
That's the other thing.
big gigs.
After this show, we may all be top headliners out there, everybody, right? You're going to flock to hear and see us. You know, it's all about that. It's all about that. And of course, the internet helps. We know that. YouTube, and I know you have a CD.
Right.
You can find us. Everybody can be
Right.
found at
The
this panel
marketing
here.
is a challenge.
Marketing is a challenge. And how about you? What do you think about live music? Where is it going to go? In Pacifica, you have 2 venues right here in the peninsula that you are appearing in.
The surf spots emerged
Oh.
about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
is that?
That's here in
Well,
Pacifica as
it's
well,
right by
yeah.
Seabowl. It's
Oh,
a
good.
fantastic venue.
Okay.
We played there last month, and we're
You were a hit.
we did
yes, the
well.
weather wasn't a hit that day, but we were.
But you can dance to your music.
I think you can. You know what we're trying to do? Music, let's face it, music's free these days. You can go on YouTube, you can go on the internet, and you can get anybody's music for free.
That's right.
And that's good. It's obviously got its downside. I think it's got its upside sometimes in visibility. But I think really what we have left as musicians is the live show.
Right.
That's what we've got left.
I think so. You're right. And, you know,
Right.
but we need support out there. I feel like I'm raising money for some profit here.
We are.
We are. We're raising money for live music, keeping it alive, like Linda says. And I teach young people music. And, you know, it's wonderful because I hope I'm giving them something they wouldn't normally hear or know about, because I try and mix it, you know, world music, a little jazz, something from a Broadway show. But when I do the shows at school, I have to think of variety if I can. But young people need to be able to go to clubs, really. In a way, I think that sounds funny maybe to everybody, but when I was young, my mother would take me out. We'd go to a restaurant and have music. I thank all of you for coming tonight and being here, and everybody out there, just please keep enjoying music and supporting us.
Dances and the charming songs. But wait a minute, something's wrong. Hey mambo, mambo Italiano. Hey mambo,